presenting 5 of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s most memorable speeches. Before he was assassinated at age 39, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. led the 1995 Montgomery bus boycott, organized the 1963 March on Washington, advocated for civil disobedience and nonviolent protests, and became one of the most influential figures in American history. 51 years after his death, here's a look back at some of the civil rights leaders' most memorable speeches. I Have a Dream, Washington, D.C., August 28, 1963. In his most famous speech, King stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and called for an end of racism in the United States before a crowd of more than 250,000 people. Our God is Marching On, Selma, Alabama, March 25, 1965. Delivered after the historic marches from Selma to Montgomery, historians consider King's triumph deliverance of his Our God is Marching On speech to mark the end of the civil rights movement's first phase, focusing on legal and political rights. The movement will later focus on fighting for economic equality. Beyond Vietnam, a time to break the silence. Riverside Church in New York City, April 4, 1967. Exactly 1 year after his assassination, King condemned the Vietnam War at a time when the majority of the Americans still supported the effort. King was criticized for his speech, considered one of the most controversial, and lost supporters for being too political. The Other America, Stanford University, April 14, 1967. Just 10 days after declaring his opposition to the Vietnam War, King spoke to a crowd at Stanford University and advocated for economic and social equality. In his Other America speech, King described 2 Americas to highlight the growing poverty gap in the United States as a root of inequality. King gave a similar version of this speech at Michigan Grosse Point High School on March 14, 1968. I've been to the mountaintop, Memphis, Tennessee, April 3, 1968. In his final speech, King addressed a church filled with striking sanitation workers who were protesting their low pay and working conditions. King emphasized the importance of unity in nonviolent protest in the fight for justice, no matter how painful the struggle. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King might be the greatest preacher in American history. This year will mark his 91st birthday, but the civil rights icon words and speeches have grown to become timeless while greatly contributing to change in the tide of American history today. Thank you.